I don't have all of those things. My life's not that great. And you start to become very bitter and jealous and resentful, and by comparing your life to what you see on social media. Welcome aboard, everyone, to another episode of the Raw Truth. This is the Raw Truth number 19, AntiSocial media. Raw Truth, as you already know if you've tuned in before, is a place where we have a collaboration of knowledge and empowerment within the heavy metal community around conversations of contemporary social issues and interpersonal struggles. We're here to talk about mental health. We're here to talk about being on the warpath, living life to the max. And today we are talking about social media and some of the negative impacts it has, some of the positive impacts it has, and how we can use it better to, have a positive impact in our life and use the tool for all its benefits.
Best purposes, as opposed to letting it use us.
That's right.
For its potential negatives. Everything in life's obviously got positives and negatives, and it's really up to us as the individual to take responsibility for the way that's, being used in our life, the way we're going to use that.
That's right. Yeah.
Making sure that we're not going to let it control us, override us. It's not going to take control of the things of our mind, especially, but not just our mind, but also our actions. So we can therefore go about using it in the most productive, positive way.
Absolutely.
Not letting it destroy ourselves and those around us.
Well, as we can see already from this live stream, social media has an incredibly powerful potential to reach around the world, connect with people who are like-minded, like all of you guys.
Yeah.
We've got, as I said, we've got Stacey here from Texas. We've got a few guys from Brisbane, a few guys from down south in Australia. So, bringing all these people together around a common, interest, a theme, and all of those sorts of things. So that's just one of the many positive impacts of social media.
I think on a whole, Mark Zuckerberg obviously creating Facebook, probably the biggest social media platform after MySpace, fell in a heap. The whole idea was to, bring people together, let people connect that had become disconnected, whether they went to school together or university together and they become disconnected. It's like, how can I bring these people back together?
That's right.
So at the root of it, I guess the idea, the creation of the product or the tool was to go about bringing that connection. And over the last, say, 10 to 15 years, obviously we've, as the users, have shaped the way it's grown and everything like that, and told Zuckerberg what we want and what we don't want, and he's, tried to keep up with the demands of the customers. And
absolutely. And then on top of that, he's got, advertisers and businesses and all these other people like sort of having a slice of the pie. So, but at its root is about human connection.
Yeah.
Bringing people together. And that's what we're doing here today with you guys. So we're glad to have you all on board. Speaking of human connection, what's been going on this week? We had a launch of a music video to our mailing list subscribers, the Warhead Army, if you will, to great success. I think everyone really enjoyed that video the other night.
Yeah.
If you guys were there, let us know in the comments. I think I saw Kate and Darren. They were definitely there the other night. Did anybody else see the sneak peek of the video the other night? We'd love to know what you thought about it in the comments. But how'd you go?
Yeah, man, I thought it was really good, really successful. Obviously, like I said, had some people tuning in, but obviously everyone who wasn't part of the Warhead Army before Wednesday, basically the next level of Wartooth fan. Obviously we've got social media followers and everything like that, and people who buy our CDs and buy our merch and everything like that. But getting on that mailing list, really have that next level conversation. Get that the 3 days of thrash metal experience when you first come in. Get a good rundown of what we do, way we write, everything, our music, and then really just having weekly, fortnightly conversations about what's going on. Really just getting that next level communication. Personal email contacts to Ando and I. And that's all for you. If you want to sign up, just let us know, or you can go to the link we'll probably post at the end.
If you do want to sign up, guys, it's signup.wartoothmetal.com. So just chuck that in your browser in another tab while you're listening to us ramble on today. So, so that happened. We launched a music video to our subscribers. For everyone else, the Wired to Die music video is coming out this coming Thursday. It'll be up on Facebook and YouTube and all the good places. So, we do want to get that stuff out there, but we want to reward the people that are part of our community, and have the conversation with those more passionate and connected people. So and we'll be doing this a lot next year. Going into next year, we're definitely going to be releasing a lot more things specifically to our mailing list, or maybe early to our mailing list, or maybe only to our mailing list.
Yeah.
There'll be some things like, like that Anthrax cover that I just played before on the acoustic. We'll be doing things like that all year. Little jam videos, some collaborations with other musos. We've got heaps of big plans for next year, and a lot of it will end up only in the mailing list. So, you want to be a part of it, is what I'm saying. Like, I know I would want to be a part of it, definitely.
I mean, I was talking to my dad yesterday about the whole concept of what we're trying to do, trying to explain it, and I was saying, we've got whatever it is, 5,000, 6,000, something like that, Facebook followers, Instagram's like 1,200 something, YouTube's say 300-400. It's like, okay, if we got let's say 6,000, 7,000 people in the world that care, or that have shown a level of interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not all those people want to see everything we're doing all the time. They don't necessarily want to have full-on conversations and everything. They just want to buy a CD or just listen to a song here and there.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's create the community for the people who are really enjoying it. The people that we can have conversations with about what we're doing here. About the music, who want to know everything. The more passionate fans. And I said, we've got to create a place for them to come hang out with us and join in what we're doing, join in the process of what we're doing. And we're like, oh, this should be a really good opportunity for you guys and for us to have that next level of connection and have those conversations, whether it's through emails, even in person. And then obviously you get access to everything else that we've got going on. But because you've said you care, it's like, well, here you go, like we'll give you everything you said you want to care about. That's it. But if you're like, nah, I'm just good getting a social Facebook post every couple of days or once a week, like that's cool too. That's where it sits in your life. But
absolutely,
for all those who want more, it's like we can come up with it.
There's a place for it, and that is signup.wartoothmetal.com. So check that out, guys.
Sick.
What else has been going on this week, man?
Well, mate, that's what we got to do. It's all
What's
about
been going on
Wired.
with you guys
It's
this
all
week?
about Wired.
That's what I would love to hear about. Like, obviously, some people have chucked in the comments that were there the other night watching the video. Josh Sweeney said he was absolutely loving it. Kate and Darren said they loved it. It's good to see some people tuning in who have really enjoyed the music video. So, as I said, if you have seen it, let us know. If you haven't seen it, well, you're gonna either have to wait till Thursday, or if they sign up now, can they see the video in advance?
Nah, too late. I'm not too late. You had to join before Thursday.
Oh, well, don't miss the next one, is what I'm saying, because there'll be another music video coming out early next year.
Yeah.
And again, we'll be releasing it early and specifically to our mailing list. So.
Yep, that's right.
Again, you want to be a part of that club. Definitely join the Warhead Army. We want you.
That's right. So for this month, or for the Wired launch, and today's Wartooth. So do you want to explain, I guess, the concept of Wired for those who don't know?
Absolutely.
And
so
how that ties in?
Yeah. So Wired to Die, the opening track off our album program Dichotomy, came out beginning of this year. The concept of the song is kind of all about social media and how it has become this force that seems to be working against us all the time. It's very controlling, it's very addictive, and it certainly can put a lot of negative psychological impacts in our face, in our pocket, all the time. What once would have been some judgment or some sort of peer pressure or all of those sorts of community-based psychological impacts that we might have by existing in relationships with other people. What used to be before social media, that was like a part-time thing. That was you go out, you hang out in a group of people, maybe somebody says something mean to you, maybe somebody's living a better life than you, whatever is happening around you, and then you might get jealous of that, you might get hurt by that, offended, whatever it might be, and then you come home and you're away from it all, and you can recover and you can build your own little space and your own life and live your own life with the people that care about you, and then go back out in the world. Well, with social media, all of that stuff is in your pocket, in your face, 24/7, and it is just always happening, and it's always there. So that's just one of the many sort of negative things about social media, which is, again, going back to the song Wired to Die, that's basically what it's about. It's about all this like sort of AI and technology overwhelming us in our lives. So basically that's the message of the song.
Song in a nutshell. So that's why we're here. That's why we've got the video, the imagery of the video, the theme of the video. It's all tied in to.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's this thing that we have in the world now, and how can we utilize that? And so that's what we're here today.
Well, it's certainly not going anywhere. Social media has definitely become this thing that's it's a necessity in our life now.
Yep.
And it's certainly a necessity for a lot of businesses and even for us as a band. Like, it's such a powerful tool for us to reach all of you guys with our music, with our things like this, you know, keeping you updated with what we're up to as a band and all those sorts of things. So, and for you guys, I'm sure it's just as a necessity to keep up with your friends and you know, whatever you guys are, maybe you use it for business purposes or what have you. So it's one of those things, man, like just, it's not going anywhere. So we want to learn how to use it to our advantage rather than it using us and us being the product and, you know, being controlled by everything. So
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you share your story, man? Like, what's social media been for you in your life?
Absolutely. So one of the things this week on Instagram, I put up a post about comparing yourselves. And this is one of the things that I've really struggled with social media. And I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys have struggled with this too. But I find social media a lot of the time can create a lot of feelings of inferiority and maybe some jealousy and some resentment and some bitterness, some negative feelings in my life, because you sort of see everyone else's lives on social media, or, you know, like I might see other musicians playing concerts or, you know, having a jam or whatever, and it's like, oh, like, why can't I have that? Like, why can't I be playing that stadium full of people? Or why can't I be like that amazing at guitar? Like, you know, there's some little kids or like another musician or whatever that's just absolutely shredding on the guitar, and it's like I want that. That's where I want to be, you know. But you like a lot of just in life in general, you know, people's relationships, people's experiences. Maybe they're out on a bushwalk or hanging at the beach or on holiday, or I mean, obviously not so much this year with the holidays, but you know, like you know, you see all of these things on social media that's like the filtered snapshots, the perfection of people's lives, just constantly as you're scrolling through social media. Meanwhile, you're sitting on your couch, on your phone, or maybe you're on your computer in your office, and you're just scrolling through, seeing all of these people like living this amazing lifestyle, and you're like, here I am, just on my computer, doing fuck all, you know, or on my couch, as I said, and you sort of start to have this negative mental process kick off, where you're like, oh, I don't have all of those things, my life's not that great, you know, and you start to become very bitter and jealous and resentful and all of these things by comparing your life to what you see on social media. Now, I'm very much aware that the things you see on social media isn't the full story. And that's something that I think we all need to remind ourselves of quite often, is when you see that snapshot of somebody's life, like, it's a snapshot. That's not every day for them. That's not all the time. They might just be putting up a photo of them on holidays or at the beach or whatever because they're having a bunch of fun doing it. And it's like, that's awesome that they share that. But don't think that that's their entire life. Obviously, you know, they have mental health struggles. Maybe they've got some arguments at home with their partner or their family or whatever. You know, everyone's got their shit. Maybe they hate their job, or like, you know, everyone's got their problems, but nobody puts that shit on social media. So, well, not a lot of people do, at least anyway. So what you're seeing is just these little snapshots of perfection, of happiness, of fun times, or you know, of somebody's talent. Say they're putting up a video of them playing guitar, or they're putting up a concert or whatever. It's like, these are just snapshots, and you have to remind yourself, like, I have snapshots too in my life of awesomeness, and I'm grateful for those. But like, nobody's life can be that all the time. And so it's really, I guess what I'm getting at is the post I put on Instagram was really dangerous to always be comparing yourself to other people, especially through social media, because what you're seeing is a highlight reel, and it's not even one person's highlight reel. What you're essentially doing by comparing your life to like 10 posts is you're comparing your life to 10 other people's highlights. Not even one other person's highlights, but 10. And there's no physical possible way that your life can be that great or can be that perfect, because even their lives aren't that great or that perfect. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's just really dangerous to be always comparing yourself to other people that you see on social media, which is something that, as I said, has really been prominent for me in my life in the last, well, few years, I suppose. I don't know if you guys have sort of dealt with some of those feelings or some of those thoughts before, but I'd love to, if you have, like, I'd love to hear about it, so I know that I'm not like the only one, you know, dealing with this sort of shit. So yeah, like, I guess, yeah, like I said, it's just very dangerous to always be comparing ourselves to what we see online, because A, it's not the full story, and B, you should not be comparing yourself to other people anyway.
In general, yeah.
Just in life. Like, I don't know, maybe you can elaborate on that. But.
Yeah, man, I guess for me, and I try to not spend as much time on social media, like the girls in the comments are saying there, Blake and Kate, just so much crap on there, and you know, as Blake says, social media can be like the news. It's really negative, and so you can't even watch it, you know. And Kate's saying she gets fired up over it because it's just so frustrating to know for me, the news, like whether it's on social media or whether it's on the TV, I mean, I don't even watch TV because of it, but it's like we're just highlighting all the fear, we're just highlighting all the negativity. Like, why can't the news be about like the 80-year-old man who ran a marathon today, you know, and he completed his like world record attempt, or
Good on
you
him.
know, like some bloke who, you know, saved a bunch of school kids, or you know, like that's still news because the word new information, but over time, over years or decades, whatever, I guess publishers of the news have identified that, well, we sell more newspapers, we sell more articles, we sell more whatever, when we're showing people about the fears, about the negatives, or what they should be fearing in their life, because in our deepest rooted areas, you know, that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent fear, or we're trying to prevent things from attacking us and killing us, our basic primal instinct. We're used to running from the predators. So if someone's saying, oh, look out for that thing over there, we're going, oh no, and then look out for that thing over there, we go, oh no, you know. So we're more attracted to that at a subconscious level because someone's saying, oh, big scary thing, and we go, oh no. But
it elicits an emotional response.
It does.
And that's where the ratings come from, because it's like, whether it's a good emotional response or a negative one, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's making you feel something.
Yeah.
Even if it's like Kate said, even if you're getting fired up,
yeah,
or you're feeling angry at it, or scared of it, it's like it's making you feel something, which then captivates you in some way.
Yep.
And that's how their ratings are higher, when they have emotionally triggering stories.
Yeah, so they're not even, I guess, intentionally trying to create fear in a population, but that's what they're doing best for their business. And
that's right, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to talk about social media, maybe that's the same thing. Like maybe social media post that has the most amount of comments, got 150,000 of comments, whatever, is a negative news story, or even someone commenting something controversial, and all these people need to come in and disagree or shoot them down, you know. We talk about keyboard warriors and things like that. You know, all these people are just coming in, and so, you know, back to the point of the girls, really the simplest option is just to remove yourself from that situation, because you can't avoid it. Like it's always going to be there. It's always, that's what people are, whether they're consciously or subconsciously using it for that reason. They're going to feel the need to put their opinion across, to say they disagree, or oh, that's really scary, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And so we just got to take a step back, you know, be aware, like, holy, well, you know, this thing is not really productive, this thing is not really beneficial. So I really agree with them saying, oh, let's just take a step back.
That's right. And that's one of the things that I sort of realized this week, or last week, sorry, when about the comparison thing, is like, when you start to feel those emotionally triggering responses, like what we just talked about, you know, when you start to feel scared, or you feel angry, or you feel, like in my case, like resentful or jealous or whatever it might be, it's like, shit, okay, I'm feeling this thing is triggering these emotions in me. These aren't good feelings. They're not going to be productive feelings. They're going to impact me negatively. I need to like be aware that I'm feeling that, and then remove myself from the situation, you know. And like you say about the news, you know, just switching it off. Or if you start to feel like, shit, like my life is not as good as all these ones on social media, like it's at that moment, as soon as you realize that you're feeling that, that's when you need to log off social media and go and do something with your life, and go and live your life and be grateful for what's in it, or for the people in it, or for whatever it is that you're up to that day, you know.
Yeah.
But sitting there being negatively triggered, and then staying there and keeping that like feed going, and building those negative feelings and adding to them, like that's just a downward spiral waiting to happen.
Yeah. And that's basically what Kate said there, you know, fear is control.
Yeah.
And that it's coming into that, you know, with maybe another emotion, as you've described there, a fear or a jealousy, you know, or something that Darren said, like you're not feeling valued in your friendship groups, you know, you're not feeling of value in your Instagram feed, like, oh, all these people are posting their highlights, I have nothing to contribute, so therefore I'm a less of a person. Even, and as you've said, that's just going to be a spiral, obviously.
Yeah, and that's simply just not true. Like,
simply
just because you don't have a cool photo to put up, or you don't have anything to add to the conversation on a particular post, or you don't have that many likes on your pictures or whatever, it's like it doesn't matter. Like, Are you enjoying your life? Are you living the life that you want to live?
Yeah. And
if the answer to that's yes, like, you're happy, like, what's the issue? You don't need to compare yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like, but I'm not as happy, or I'm not living that life. Like, go and live the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, you're not living the life that you want to live, well then staying on social media, consuming other people's lives, that's even more of a downward spiral. If you're not living the life you want to live, then that's even more of a reason to log off social media and go and live the life that you want to live.
Yeah. So if it's taught you that, is there anything else social media sort of taught you, in recent times, maybe the way you've used it or changed the way you're using it, something like that?
Well, this is the thing, right? So all of these negative triggering emotions, all of these feelings that I was talking about, like as much as they're bad and negative, like they're also very addictive, in a sense of like on a subconscious level, much like drugs and alcohol are bad for you, but they're also very addictive, and you maybe can't control that. And even though like there's that like negative feelings and the pain and things like that, it's like your body still wants more for some reason. And I'm not really sure what like the process is there, like psychologically or biologically underneath the surface, but that's like what an addiction is. It's like this thing that's impacting you negatively, and yet you can't seem to pull yourself away from it. And that's one thing that I've realized over the last probably 18 months is like that I have become addicted to social media in a lot of ways, and I'm making steps now towards getting out of that addiction and kicking it, because it's impacting my life in a bad way. And once again, like I don't know if you guys have had any experience with this sort of thing, or if you feel like that you're addicted to it or what have you, like I'd love to, as I said, hear about it, and like partly just so that I know that I'm not like the only one dealing with it, but also like I'd love to hear your strategies for working on that addiction and maybe beating it, or if you haven't beaten it yet, like how are you going on your journey, that's what we're here as the Raw Truth to do, is to discuss like how can we all be better a little bit, how can we move forward and things like that. So so I guess hang on, I'm just going to go through the comments there because there's a lot of conversation happening on this particular topic. So
yeah, it's good. It obviously means we're hitting the sweet spot there. Something's resonating with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
If you're talking about the way we're using it and how it's impacting on ourselves internally, like our self-image and things like that. I mean, personally for me, probably over a year or two, I've really started to backpedal. Okay, this is a thing that's trying to suck me in. At the end of the day, as a user of Facebook, as a user of social media, from the business perspective and from the consumer perspective, I know that Mark Zuckerberg wants me to give him money because he will show my information to the people who want to see it the most. So I know that algorithms are programming. If I look at this thing, or if I comment on this person's post, he's going to show me more of that person, of that thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Which is all well and good if I'm clicking on the right things, So if I'm clicking on motivational page and reading positive posts and interacting with positive people, then he's going to fill up my feed with all that stuff, which is really cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
But when it comes back to the topic of this conversation, then am I using the tool or is the tool using me? I still have to make that distinction and say, well, just because I'm seeing positive things doesn't mean I still have control. So I had to sit there and look at myself and go, well, why don't I just have some sort of short buffer or window of time where it's like, okay, I'm going to go on here, come out of it with a positive mindset, because I'm not going to see trash or fear or negativity because it's programmed to only have positivity, but it's still not going to take away my time for me. Like, oh, well, this guy's kicking ass and this guy's got a motivational post and, good for this guy, but now it's my turn to go kick ass at my life. And
that's right.
Being able to really just switch off after a very short amount of time. I'm just sort of using it as I wouldn't even say fill in time, because I wouldn't prefer to say that, because then it probably it points to the fact that, oh, well, I'm bored, I'll just cruise on the socials. It's like, no, it's more like I'll just spend 2 minutes on here and then off we go. Back
just using it as
life.
like a little fire starter.
Yeah, or even just like a midpoint, like I'm between this task and this task, I'm gonna just take like a 2-minute break, 5-minute break.
Yeah.
I just use it, sort of as a fire starter, but just as a mind,
just to unwind a little bit.
Yeah, like a mind numbing agent.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a positive use of the tool, I suppose.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Taz has just put up a comment here, so talking about the comparison and things. He said, what you see on social media takes a lot of work to filter it out, like mentally. It's easy to feel like you're not as successful as others and feel down about it. Taz says he's constantly... Shit. You just clicked off the thing there. Hang on a sec. Wally's just clicked off the comment.
There he is.
Taz says he constantly reminds himself he's doing the best he can. He is where he is, and that's where he's meant to be. And then you know, and that's something that's really important. And that's kind of what I was talking about the other day on Instagram with the comparison subject. Is like, you are where you're at. Don't compare yourself to where other people are at, because they're not you, and they haven't had your life and your journey, and they're not the same age as you, in the same situation as you are in life.
Yeah.
You know, you're here, wherever here is for you. All that you have to focus on is like, how can I make one step forward today to be somewhere better tomorrow, you know, and just being grateful for the past experiences that have got you to where you are, and focusing on what you can do next to move forward. And that's one thing that Taz there has said has been his mindset when approaching all of those negative feelings, and that's something that I've been doing as well, which has really helped me. It's like, no, I'm here, what am I working on? I'm working on these things, and other people, like I said about comparing yourself, you know, I'm comparing myself to other people on social media saying like, I'm not there. But other people are probably looking at my page going like, they wish they were me, you know? And I'm very much aware of that. And that's, you know, that's one thing that we got to remind ourselves of. Is like, you are where you're at, and other people want to be where you are. So you want to be where other people are. It's like the grass is always greener kind of thing, you know? You just have to be grateful that you are where you're at, and just try and do the best you can with that.
Yeah, man. And that's, like, I'm really resonating with what Tolly said there, you know, about finding the time. Like, well, it's not even a high priority in my life, you know. Like, I've got me to go and do, you know. I don't need to be sitting here enjoying what everyone else is doing. Like,
that's right.
I got to go do me.
Go and live your life.
Yeah, and in the broad sense of things, in the course of a day, you know, you can get apps and things on your phone which will track your usage on your phone, your time, and it might be very scary, you know, if you actually start to use one of those things and start to monitor.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I've spent like 3 hours cruising social media today. Like, damn, you know, that's so much time.
And those are small numbers compared to some people.
Yeah, man. It's the same
Not
as
to compare.
it's the same as a TV, you know, before the phone. Like, you know, people might spend 20, 30 hours a week watching a TV. You know, that's so much time you could be spending doing what you want to do. Yeah, really living your life, and not just consuming the things that other people told you were important. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to tell me every time I go on Facebook. Oh, you care about these things, you like these things, here, I'll give you more of those. But it's like, well, no, what's really important to me is what I'm doing in the real world, you know, not what's happening on the socials.
Yeah, so. It's like you and your partner and your family and your friend circle.
Yeah,
like that's what's valuable, those human relationships and the experiences of now, not what everyone else is up to and posting photos about.
Yeah.
Actually, we just got a comment here about Frederick Latham. You know, he said he's got a book by Mark Manson called The Gentle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yep.
Which has a whole chapter about comparing yourself to other people.
Yep.
I haven't actually read that book, but I have heard of it, and I've heard lots of good things about it, and it's going to be on my book list for 2021. Absolutely,
it's a good one. That. Yeah.
There'll be a raw truth where we summarize the. I'll summarize what I've learned from reading it. You've read it?
Yeah, it's good. It's for me. A lot of it was picked up from other like motivational speakers or other authors, things like that, just talking about the basics of like, don't need to worry about what's happening in the world around you. Don't let the TV and the social media tell you what's happening, what's important to you. Like, you choose what's important to you. You don't need to care about other people's opinions. You are as fantastic as you say you are.
Yeah, right.
You know, all about building your self-image. And
so,
as he said, he's got the chapter on basically what's happening there to
social media.
Yeah, to choose like what you want to do.
Okay. Is there also a bit in the book from like Mustain, Dave Mustain?
Yes.
I think somebody else was telling me about that. There's like a thing
I'll tell you about it.
Dave Mustaine comparing himself to Metallica.
Yeah, so basically for 30 years, 25 years, whatever, Dave Mustaine lived in the shadow of Metallica. He's always chasing this like, oh, well, I got kicked out of this band, so now I'm going to live in misery because they've always had this many millions of albums above me, and I'm not as good as them, and blah, blah, blah. But from another person's perspective, Dave Mustaine's like the second greatest thrash metal band.
Second thrash metal band in the world,
but he still wasn't happy in himself because he wasn't as good as Metallica. Because he held on to those sour feelings. He wasn't able to let go, move on, be happy with his life and all the things that he's done with Megadeth. Individually, as an individual, he's created Megadeth. When people talk about the songs,
absolutely,
lyrics, everything, it's like he is the Megadeth. So in effect, he's done far greater than 4 individual, or maybe 6, 8 individual members of Metallica, who've come and gone
Well,
over the years.
Yeah, not to mention, like, even if you look back at their old stuff, like Kill 'Em All and
Yeah.
Ride the Lightning, like,
Well,
he wrote a lot of those songs.
Yeah,
So, like, the reason Metallica is got something to do with Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Like,
but he just couldn't.
he has that success. Like, it's partly his.
Yeah, he couldn't allow himself to feel all that success of Megadeth because he was still living in the shadows of what was
Man,
Metallica.
I really
so.
resonate with that, man. Like, I know for a while, like, going back a little bit, a couple of years now, I used to have similar feelings about my past relationship. Like, when we split up, it was like, my whole goal was to, like, I need to do better than her. I need to be better than where I was. Like, like, it was this competitive thing, like we talked about with Dave Mustaine. Like, I don't want to be second to that. I want to be the best, you know. And that was a real driving force. But like, and it was very motivating in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it was the wrong kind of motivation. It was like dirty fuel. It's like all of these like bitter, sour feelings are like, they can be motivating you, but at the same time, like, it's not sustainable and it's not healthy to be motivated by that, because like you say, you're never going to be happy being Megadeth.
Yeah.
Like, why would you be unhappy
Happy
if you
being
were
Megadeth,
Megadeth? That's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like, I can get what you're saying, and I can totally like picture myself in Dave Mustaine's shoes going like, yeah, but I'm not number one.
Yeah.
I'm number two, and that's not good enough. And
Yeah.
like maybe it's not good enough, but like, it doesn't mean that it's not worth anything.
Yeah, man.
Maybe you still want to be better than number two, but like, you've got to be grateful for where you are at, you know? And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I keep reminding myself of. It's like, you know, with Wartooth, like, we're not a big band by any means, but we're not nothing.
Yeah.
And we have, like, you guys, we have a loyal following that's quite reasonably sized. You know, we've made an album that we're very proud of. We made music videos that we're very proud of, and people are enjoying them. We're enjoying them.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying being in Wartooth. So like, it doesn't matter what other bands are doing, or whether they're bigger than us or smaller than us or whatever. It's just not important. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Chasing our passion and our goals. We've got people that love what we're doing. What more could you want?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, as Taz alluded to earlier, it's internal. You know, we've got to be what we want to be inside. You know, and not let external factors influence that.
That's
without
right.
going too far away from the topic of social media. You know, do you feel like we've alluded to how you're going to better use the tool, or if the tool is using you?
Well, the tool was using me, is my
Yeah.
point. Yeah, and it's one of those things, like Taz was saying, is like, you've got to work on the mindset. I think that's what's going to get you out of that funk, is like, it's not something you can do with social media. It's not something that you can do with like a watch saying like, oh, I've been on here too long, it's time to get off. It's like, you have to change your perspective. You have to change your perspective to, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. What matters is what I'm doing, and I'm happy. It's like that mental process of like switching off from the jealousy and the resentment and the feelings of inferiority and things like that. That's where it starts. It starts in the mindset, not in the external, like the social media tool itself.
And do you think you've what's the word, like, eclipsed that, somewhat chipped away at?
It's definitely not like ancient history for me.
Okay.
I'm still working through it, but it's something that I'm getting control over. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And do you have a process or strategy to attack that?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. It's one of those things, like any mindset change that you're trying to make in your life is a time thing, like, and it's practice, and it's, you're gonna like fall back occasionally and default back to your other mindsets and things like that, but it's just something you got to keep. I think one of the most important steps is like realizing it, being aware that you're feeling this way. And as I said, like, when you are feeling that way, it's like, okay, time to get off for today. That's enough. Step away from it. Come back again tomorrow, sure. You know, and as soon as you start feeling those negative feelings, just like catch yourself. Be like, hang on a sec, I'm feeling this. I think we spoke about this in one of the Venomhead Raw Truths last year. It's like, as soon as you start feeling those negative feelings of resentment or anger or whatever, it's like, be like, whoa, hang on, I'm feeling this. Time to remove myself from the situation, sort out my thoughts, come back, and then I can approach the task or the environment or whatever it is with a better mindset and get better results out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys like been dealing with any of these negative feelings with social media, or maybe an addiction to social media. Like, I'd love to hear how you guys have worked through that, or what you're doing, because like, it would genuinely help me, and it would genuinely help other people that might be watching or in the comment section. So please, if you guys have done anything like that, or you've worked through an addiction or this negative mindset and you've come through it, like, share your process, man. We'd love to hear about it.
What do you think is the optimal end result or usage for social media? Like, how can is there something that you can foresee? Like, I'll be happy when I use social media for this or this amount of time per day, or
Yeah, well, like I said before, like, and that's kind of how we started this whole conversation, was like, the tool is not the problem.
Yeah.
Social media has a lot of potential positive impacts on people's lives.
Yeah.
Sorry, it has a lot of positive impacts on people's lives. It has the potential to have great positive impacts on people's lives. You can connect with people across the world. You can, have conversations about these sorts of topics or any of the struggles that you might be having. You can find new friends, new really close friends. You might make a relationship through social media that's the best relationship you've ever had, and it started through social media because you've connected over a similar interest or something. Or there's so many positive positive potentials for social media that but the only way we can get those positive impacts out of it is if we're using it rather than it using us. We have to gain control of social media and use it to benefit us and benefit the people that are on there and the people around us, rather than being the consumer, being the product, basically.
Okay. Do you have like a measurable or a binary expectation of what you think? Or like, okay, I want to be on Instagram for this amount of time per day, or to talk to some people, or like, you know what I mean? If it was, in what point in your mind do you say, like, I'm no longer addicted, I'm using this in a good way, it's benefiting my life? Like, is there something you can see that you're trying to aim for?
Not particularly. I don't think there's like a measurable thing that says, like, if I'm on there this amount of time, then that's a good thing. I think it's more of like the way that you use it. It's the quality of the time that I'm on there.
Okay.
I could be on there for 10 hours a day,
right.
But if I'm having great conversations with people, I'm learning lots of things, finding out new music or new information about something, or having great conversations like this one with some of you guys in the comments, like,
be here all day.
I could do this all day. This is great. This is a great use of my time.
Yeah.
But if I'm just on there like comparing myself to everyone else's filtered lives, like, that's 10 minutes of that a day is bad.
Okay.
So okay. I don't think it's a time thing. I think it's a quality thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. I guess, I mean, for me, being like more binary as a person, like things are positive or negative. Like I said, I just try and utilize it in this specific environment. So like when I am changing task, like I'll use it just as a mental relaxation sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily looking on there to have a positive conversation with people.
Right.
Like for me personally, I prefer to converse with people in person or on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of even messaging people. So
absolutely,
I guess for me, my binary result of like I'm winning on social media, which I feel like I have a very good relationship with social media, is to go on there, do what I need to do with the band stuff, and then personal stuff. It's really just like 2 to 5 minutes, maybe every couple of hours, or maybe even once or twice a day.
Yeah, okay.
Just to fill in those gaps, So that's me having a positive relationship with social media, not letting it control me. It's like, I'll give you a little bit of time, because at the end of the day, for me, I'm saying it doesn't necessarily provide any real benefit outside of the band.
Right. Right.
Because if there's things going on with people or people I care about, whatever the case may be, be on the phone, meet up with them in person, But it does allow me to, as I said, with the band, create those connections, build those relationships with people. So I'm happy to message and talk with those. As we had our mate earlier in Texas, tuned in from America. Like, how do we get that guy? Well, we got him through social media.
Yeah.
And all you guys were spreading the message through social media. So
absolutely.
For the band, definitely beneficial, but for my personal life, it's definitely not really something that's valued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, that's really important, and I think I agree with what you're saying about human connection in the physical, in the real time, in person, like face to face, is always much better than a social media connection.
Yeah.
A social media relationship, so to speak. It's always better to be in a room with somebody having a conversation with them, rather than chatting to them through Messenger across the world.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not always possible, and it's certainly the potential for connecting across the world and things like that with social media is so better. Like, we can have a conversation right now with 20 of you people, basically face to face. Like, it's not the same, and obviously there's not as much two-way dialogue as we would have if we were in a face-to-face situation. But that's not to say that this is a bad platform or this is a bad thing to do with your time.
That's correct.
But yeah, in saying that, obviously, like physical human connection, being in the same room, face to face, listening to each other, and have a conversation is always the best, optimal solution, I should say.
Yeah.
Not even solution, but situation. So, yeah, it's just something interesting to sort of think about there. But yeah, so, like
that was deep. There was a lot of things in there, you know. I think at the end of the day, we just got to be aware, got to be conscious. You know, personally, you know, something it took me a few years, but something I definitely became aware of a couple of years ago. And I'd almost say it's unfortunate for maybe people who are younger, but definitely something that may be benefiting people who are 30 or above, especially maybe 40 or 50.
Yeah.
They don't even care about this thing because they've known communication, they've known relationship building outside of these things. But maybe everyone under the age of 25 or 20, especially people under the age of 15, they've grown up in this world. So their communication with their friends, everything they're doing is all through the social media network. And so like, they have no choice but to figure out how to use it right. But us adults and people even older, 25, like I said, 30 and above, they've lived life without social media. They know what it's like to have to organise a catch up with a friend just to have a conversation because they never had that option, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's quite maybe unfortunate, and in the years to come, the next couple of decades, we might have to really evolve. Well, we have already in the last decade, we've evolved how social media is used, but it's definitely something, as you said at the start, maybe not going to go away, but the responsibility definitely lies on the individuals to make sure that we're supporting the people around us and, you know, not letting our younger ones be our children, especially when we get older. Like, they're not going to let this destroy their self-image. We're not going to let this shape their identity by what they see and what they see in other people. You know, we
That's
have
really
to,
important, I think.
We have to somehow raise them to be confident individuals, irregardless of what they're seeing, you know. But what you're saying is that's something even adults struggle with.
Absolutely, man.
Like, you existed before social media and you had a perfectly good self-image, and then you've seen all these fantastic people, and you're like, well, shit, I'm not as great as what I thought I was, because there's people all over the world who are far better than me.
That's the thing that gets you, man. Is because, like, you know, you might be, even like as a musician, you're like, you're a good musician.
Yep.
Maybe you're even a great musician.
Yep.
And you're really good. But in the world, there's going to be at least 100 people that are like way better than you are at anything that you do. Whatever it is that you think you're the best at in your life.
Yep.
There's at least 100 people, probably thousands, out there in the world that are far, far better than you.
Yep.
The thing is, before social media, you didn't even know those people existed.
Yep.
And you certainly weren't seeing them.
Yep.
And so you were allowed to have the confidence. I guess allowed is probably the right word. You were allowed to have the confidence to be like, I'm happy with my skills. Yeah. I'm good at this thing.
Yeah.
But as soon as things like social media come in, and it's like, okay, but are you the best in the world?
Yeah.
And like, it turns out you're not even in the top 1,000.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. And then of course that's going to impact your confidence. You're going to be like, oh fuck, I thought I was good at this, and it turns out I'm not that good. But in saying that,
well, yeah,
if you're in the top 1,000 in 7.5 billion people, like, that's like we were saying about Megadeth, they're number 2. Like, number 2 is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, what's the issue with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, man.
What you've identified there, again, like, at the end of the day, doesn't matter where you lie in the spectrum of 7.5 billion people.
Correct.
Where you lie in you versus you.
That's the thing, man. And that's the challenge, is not comparing yourself. Comparing, I mean, it's easy to say don't compare yourself. It really is.
Just do it, yeah.
You know? But we're going to compare ourselves because that's how humans relate to each other on a psychological level, subconsciously. We always compare ourselves to everything around us. Like, where do we sit in this group of people? Where do we sit in the bigger group of people?
Yeah.
I think one of the sort of strategies, if there was one, is not to compare yourself to other people, but compare yourself to you yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you better than you were yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're winning. You're making progress.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, it's time to do something about that, because that means you're going backwards. Or at least staying still, which is in essence going backwards.
Stagnant over time, yeah.
Yeah, right? So if you're going to compare yourself, and you are going to compare yourself, compare yourself to you. Be like, where was I yesterday? Where was I a year ago? Where was I 5 years ago? Shit, I've made some fucking progress.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's where the confidence and the happiness and the progress fuels the fire to keep going forwards and forwards and forwards, because now you're like, well, I'm better than I was yesterday.
Yep.
Let's be better again tomorrow.
Yep.
You know, and just keep pushing, and then you keep living your life, like Taz and Tolly said, and like a few other people have said. You know, just
Get on with it.
go and live your life and be a bit better tomorrow. Like, do the work today to be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then you'll be happy and you'll be confident, and you won't care what other people are doing
Where they have to say, you're just like, oh, cool, they're over there doing their thing. I'm doing my thing too, and I'm loving it. You're loving it. Everyone's loving it.
Yeah.
Happy days. World keeps going around.
That's it. So if there was a takeaway from this real truth, I think that's it. Is compare yourself to yesterday, not to other people today.
On the social media.
In life.
Yeah.
In life, man.
Yeah.
In life. And I guess that's probably the thing that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And that's my next hurdle on the warpath.
Okay.
Is well, not even the next hurdle. It's where I'm at right now. I'm halfway over that hurdle.
Yeah.
I should say. You know, I'm halfway through it of like trying to figure out like that's right. Where was I yesterday? No, I'm better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. I'm happy. I'm confident.
Yeah. I mean, man, we've covered a lot of stuff today already. It's nearly been an hour.
Damn.
The comments still flying in.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we'll just go back and address some of them.
Absolutely. How far back you want to go?
Probably about there. Yeah, I mean, Darren and Kate definitely tuning in a lot.
Yeah. That's right. So Darren was talking about, you can't move on until you let go of the hurt that you carry. So that was one of those things like we were talking about with Dave Mustain and that book about comparing himself to Metallica,
Yeah.
As long as you hold on to those feelings of like, I'm not them, I'm not as good as them, like you're never going to be able to move forward, right? Because you're clinging on to the past. You're clinging on to other people.
Yeah, you're forever comparing yourself to what was either you previously or what is someone else now or better in the future. You're like, oh, I'm not as valuable as that person.
That's right. And sort of in a similar situation, Kate said, the size, like the result, the measurable result, so to speak, the size of your band or the size of your skill level or whatever, shouldn't take preference or precedence over your purpose and your passion. Like, are you happy with what you're doing?
Yeah.
Regardless of other people, if there was no comparison to other people, are you where you are? Are you happy? Are you doing the thing that you want to do?
Yeah.
Are you living the life that you want to live?
Yeah.
If the answer's yes, you're winning. If the answer's no, go and live it.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's what else have we got here in the comments here?
Obviously, Kate, tuning in about the communicating with people through social media messaging compared to in person. I mean, personally, especially in the messages, in comments of posts, I see it all the time. Like someone will comment something, and then people will jump on them, and then the guys come back. He's like, "Oh, that's not what I meant," and it's like
misunderstandings.
Misunderstandings, miscommunications, the subtle cues, like she talks about. It can all be lost by just texting, words.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make sense because there's no context.
Well,
there's no emotion. There's no body language. There's no verbal cues that we can read off as a human because we've got all these senses. We've got ears and sight, smells, everything allow us to interpret a situation. So when someone's coming at us, we can see if they're coming at us aggressively or politely, positively. So if someone comments something, we have no idea whether that person got a big smile on their face or angry eyes.
That's right.
And we're not going to interpret that. And I guess maybe that's why they invented emojis.
Absolutely, but even then, it's still not the same.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you do. You when you're talking to people online, you can get really offended or you can get heated all of a sudden because somebody just misinterpreted what they meant by this sentence that they said. That's when it's text on a page, it's emotionless. It has no body language. It has no facial expression. It has no verbal expression. It's just fact, cold, hard text.
Take it how you will.
This.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's angry, or that they meant that to hurt me. And it's like, well, maybe they didn't. Maybe it was you just interpreted it that way, and they were having some banter, or maybe just the way that it was worded is totally not what they meant at all. But I guess you don't get that.
You don't get that
with text,
that verbal.
Could you imagine having one of these conversations via text?
Well, we're trying to. Look at them go.
No, I'm saying with us. If we were sitting here explaining all of this stuff in text form, A, it would take hours and hours, but B, you wouldn't be able to communicate the passion for the topic that we're talking about. You wouldn't be able to communicate the fact that we're excited about this thing or upset about that thing. You just can't explain all of those feelings through text.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so. And as Blake said, it's, the time that we spend on social media is not so much the critical thing, it's the quality of that time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things in life, you know, it's doing something for 10 minutes or 6 hours is not what's important. It's what are you doing with the quality of that time? Is it enjoyable time? Is it productive time? Is it positively impacting your life? Or is it negatively impacting your life?
Yep. But I like what you said about, you know, I may be looking at it in a negative way, but at the end of the day, I've still got things to do. So I need to put a time limit on it. Everything in life. It's like, well, we can't do this thing forever because we've got other things to do. So we've got to draw the line.
That's right, yeah.
You know?
At the end of the day, like, social media is not your life.
No.
So go and live your life, right?
Yeah.
Blake's asked a really good question there, actually. Do you want to get to that one?
Yeah, man. So what inspired us to start the band? Was it family? No, no one in our family does music.
We're the only two.
Have we been around? Like, I would say, you know, we definitely grew up in a very musical household, like always listening to music everywhere we drive, listen to music, and you know, we both played instruments of some variety from preschool, grade 1 up.
Yeah, through primary school and things like that.
Well, you stopped, didn't you? Up to in high school.
Yeah, I stopped playing music in high school altogether because up until that point I'd just been playing classical instruments, and I just really wasn't. It wasn't for me.
Wasn't digging that.
No, like, I mean, when you're growing up as a kid, like, whether it's your parents or the teachers at school or just life in general, people sort of say, you know, give things a go, like, try playing this classical instrument, try learning some music, try doing some sport, try doing this other thing, you know. And as a kid, like, it's healthy to have exposure to all those different things because you can sort of find out what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time in primary school and early high school doing classical instruments, and I just did not enjoy it at all. Like, I hardly practiced, I didn't even enjoy going to, like, the band rehearsals and things like that, because it wasn't the music I was into, and it wasn't, like, the instrument that I was playing, it just didn't connect with me at all. So I kind of gave up on music in high school, for the most part, and then when I got to, like, I think I was, like, 18, 19, I picked up an acoustic guitar for the first time, and I was like, this is me.
Yeah.
This instrument right here, like, it feels good in my hands. I can play the songs that I like to listen to, you know, because I was always into, like, rock music and a bit of metal music in late high school and stuff like that. And so that's guitar music.
Yeah.
It's not violin music. It's not clarinet music. It's not saxophone music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, the music that I'm listening to is guitar driven. So when I picked up a guitar, I was like, yeah, this is me. This is the music that I like to listen to and play. And, like, once I picked up a guitar, I was like, okay, now, like, this is where we can go with music. Like, music is, as I said, as Wally said, you know, we've always been around music. We've always appreciated it, listened to it. Once I picked up a guitar, I was like, okay, now I can actually make music that I want to make.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of how I started making music and being in a band. And, like, you played drums for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, my story was similar, you know, from grade 1 up to grade, say, I think it was about grade 6, something like that. You know, we had going to a private school, like, okay, grade 4 you choose an instrument, grade 5 you choose an instrument, and choosing instruments up until about grade, I think it was about grade 6 or something like that. I was in the band, a bigger band at school, and it's like, shit, I want to start playing drums. Like, these instruments with their notes, like, I don't like that. I want to play the notes where you can do whatever and it fits, sort of thing. And at the time, playing a saxophone, playing a cello, it was like, well, you got to play the note that fits the song. And I was like, no, I want to play the drums. Like, just, you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. You have the freedom to fit in.
It's the feelings.
Yeah, man. So I started taking lessons, and, you know, I'm like, yeah, I play rock, you know, Midnight Oil, and what else do we have? It's like some early Iron Maiden stuff, like simpler stuff. So I'm going to my drum teacher, like, yeah, shit, you know, let's learn some of these beats, like rock and roll beats. He was a bit more of a jazz teacher, so a lot more about technique and all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, he was good because he gave us the freedom to do what we wanted to do, and that really helped, I think, from a passion perspective. Yeah. And that's what helps fuel a lot of self-taught people. But I got lessons from grade 6 all the way up to grade 12, always pretty much doing what I wanted to do. And about grade 9, I got this really awesome drum teacher. He was phenomenal, and he was very much the same, but he's like, hang on, I know you like to do this shit, but let's go back to basics, not worry about playing songs, but playing the drums, technique, like what you can do, what the potentials are, and then you can go and apply that. And so for about 3 years there, he taught me all about doing that. And then grade 11 and 12, always playing in the rock bands and everything, you know, playing at lunchtimes, playing little concerts and shit, like Red Hot Chili Peppers and all these rock and I'm like, yeah, man, this like I was loving it. This is my element, you know. Like I love it because there's no attention on me, but I think all the attention's on me.
Right.
But probably no one can see.
So nobody's watching you as the
yeah,
drummer.
I'm like I can love it and fuck up and whatever because no one sees me. But then on the flip side, I'm like, no, it's got to be perfect because everyone can see me. So
they can hear you, that's for sure.
Yeah,
you can always hear the drummer.
So mentally, like I've got this balance between the two. I can hide and fuck up as many times as I want, but then no, I can't because of course everyone's looking at the drummer. Because that's when I go to a show, like I'm looking at the drummer. So anyway, moving forward, leave school. Obviously got the drum kit for Christmas, and they were like, "Holy shit, you got a guitar and I got a drum kit. Like we can play songs at home." So
and, yeah, we're both into similar music. Obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously the evolution from rock went into Metallica and then upgrades to Slayer and blah blah blah. Double kick pedals come out and like all right, now we can start to play what we enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that was the evolution of playing, and then okay, we can play, make some noise in the garage. Like oh, let's cover some songs. We cover Metallica.
We did
cover this.
And
yeah.
we did Twisted Sister back in the day.
And then it's like oh, well, a guitar and a drums is only so much. Well, let's find some bass and some leads and. All of a sudden, you're looking for people, and you're a little band going.
That's it. And then we started writing music.
Yeah.
I kind of started writing guitar parts not long after I started learning guitar, actually, because like I've always been a creative person, and as soon as I could play like a song on guitar, I was like, I want to make my own song.
Yeah.
So I started like just writing almost straight away, and then like it wasn't as you said for a little while there where we got more into like actually writing some metal together with other people and all those things, and then the rest is
along comes Wyatt and Kingdom and off we go playing shows and rock
and roll.
Skip me
for a sec, but yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much the evolution of Wartooth starting, and obviously thanks to social media we were able to find some band members and all that. So just to tie it back into today's episode, that was really cool. Thanks for the questions. Everyone's commenting in there, but we did have one question we wanted to ask you guys. Being our deepest, probably our closest fans, we've been starting to market ourselves, do some advertising and starting to get our message out more into the world. I really wanted to ask you guys just to see what you think. When you first saw Wartooth, like what can we take out into the world? We want to know because we can't really see what it is that you guys enjoy. So we're really looking to understand, and let us know in the comments, like, what is it about Wartooth that you really enjoy? What is it about Wartooth that that you love to tune into Wartooth and listen to our music and come to our shows? Whether it's energy at shows or whether it's the thought-provoking live streams or whether it's the fact that we're always on social media or that we're not too much in your face or interesting, boring, whatever it may be. Like, let us know what it is that we can tell other people. Like, we are Wartooth and we this.
That's right. Yeah. That's one thing we'd really like your help on, guys. Is like obviously you guys are very passionate fans of ours and get involved in the conversation a lot and really liking to understand the lyrics and the messages behind our songs and kind of what we're about on our journey.
Yeah.
You guys are all up in that. So, like as Wally said, like what drew you to that? What keeps you here? And if we can all work that out together with you guys and with us, then we can start to make this community of warheads bigger. Yeah. Because we know what it's about and we know what we're doing. Yeah. And what other people might be drawn towards. So then we can get into the whole, like, we can grow the community to find more people just like us. Yeah. And it's the sort of thing, like if you want to just message us or whatever, we can have a more detailed conversation. We can have a phone call, whatever it may be. If you just want to leave something brief in the comments, that's also much appreciated. Absolutely, yeah. But we really, really would like your help because you guys obviously didn't know us, and then you did know us, and so something obviously made you enjoy us and all that. And and it's obviously not more than just the music, because otherwise you'd just be listening to our CD or songs on Spotify. But you're not. You're here in the raw truth. Yeah. Having a conversation about social media and our journey and all of those things. So yeah. We'd love to hear what it is that you guys are drawn to, why you're here, and what you get from it. We'd love to hear about that. All right, man. We've been flapping the gums for a little while now, so it's been a big one today. We really appreciate everyone commenting so far and giving us your thoughts. Obviously, absolutely, very deep conversations. Obviously, we could have covered so much more, but we've got to wrap it up. We only got through half of my notes here. Yeah, we'll have to come back next week and do it all again. We'll have to have another one. Part 2. Yeah, absolutely. But man, like we've got to get on with our days and get down to business. Yes, like we were saying before about spending too much time on social media. You guys have been here for an hour already, and We've been at it for a bit longer than that, so time to move on. But,
Any last thoughts on to summarise or to loop it around?
well, looping back to the beginning about AntiSocial, like, yeah, it's a mindset. I think attacking social media with a positive mindset of how can I be social on here,
Yep.
hence the name social media.
Yep.
How can I bring positive value to my relationships on social media? How can other people bring positive value to my relationship with them? Using the tool in a positive way and not letting it use you, making it social and making it positive rather than it using you and you being the product. And yeah, again, AntiSocial was the Anthrax cover at the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll probably record a proper one, like, decent recording rather than just a live stream thing, and put that up on to the Warheads, I guess. That's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Over the next week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe do some layering, put a couple of guitar layers in there or something,
Settle down, mate.
vocal harmonies, or I'll do like a decent recording of it and send that to the mailing list subscribers. So we're going to get into a lot of that next year, so may as well start now, right?
Yeah, so everyone who's not part of the Warhead Army, make sure you sign up at signup.wartoothmetal.com.
That's right.
Like we said, you got 3-day immersion, some what Wartooth's
send
all
you
about.
3 free songs.
And then we're all into it. Raw Truth, YouTube videos, Spotify, everything. We'll let you know. We'll bring you into the closer circle.
Absolutely. We want to have more conversations like this.
Yeah, so.
Also, for the Warheads, as I said before, next year we'll be getting a lot into exclusive video content, maybe some sneaky song releases. We'll be getting into early access to music video releases and things like that. Like the other day we had the Wired to Die preview screening, essentially, is the early access. So we dropped the Wired to Die music video for everyone that was on our mailing list last Thursday. Everyone else gets it this coming Thursday. So if you're not on our mailing list, make sure you tune into Facebook and YouTube this Thursday from 7 p.m. Queensland time. 7?
We're doing 7? So we can do 7 if you like. 7:30, whatever.
7-ish.
7-ish.
There'll be an update coming out on our page.
Yeah, we'll post on that,
That'll be for the Wired to Die music video, which, again, we really, really appreciate all of your lovely support and efforts in that one. For those that don't know, it's a fan video. Everyone sort of contributed them playing or singing along to the song in some way.
Yep.
And sent us a video of them doing that.
Yep.
And then we've compiled all of that with some awesome video editing into a quite entertaining and topical social media music video.
Yeah.
Definitely something you guys don't want to miss this Thursday. So check that out, Wired to Die, Thursday from 7-ish p.m. Queensland time.
Yep.
But what else did I get on the mailing list? There's merch discounts.
Yeah, man.
You got a special pack.
Yeah. You'll have to come and find out.
Well, that's right.
We don't want to be.
We're not going to give it all away here.
Yeah. So man, if that's all we got, I think that's a wrap.
Absolutely, guys. And once again, thank you all for your time and for contributing. There's been so many comments today, guys. We've been struggling to keep up with them, but we'll come back to them either later today or during the week, and we'll sort of continue the conversation via text message and maybe through email and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed the Anthrax cover. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and got something out of it. I know I certainly did. So we'll wrap up, and this is Wired to Die. Have a ripper Sunday, guys. Stay on that warpath, and stay thrash.
That's it.